Hello everyone, today I have some really unfortunate news. By the way, happy holidays and whatnot. Due to some increased gamer oppression over the year of 2020, I regret to inform you that we no longer live in a society. The paradigm has shifted and we currently live in something brand new. A dystopia.
It's not true! That's impossible!
I know this is a lot to take in, but thankfully I have some visual aids that might be able to help. You guys need to understand that whenever a paradigm shift occurs, there is no direct notification, so it is the responsibility of the meme community to make sure that everyone is aware of a paradigm shift so that we can navigate through the new human civilizational model. And for that, I have produced a visual aid to help us navigate through our new society to dystopia paradigm shift. Now, the image you should be seeing on the screen right now shows that human civilization operates on 5 distinct layers. Quasi-utopia, because there is no such thing as a true utopia, so we can get close to it, but we can't truly obtain it. And that was the model we were operating under during the early 2000s era, and prior, but not too far prior, the 90s and a chunk of the 80s. And then we moved into the society model as gamer oppression continued to worsen, and things continued to get even worse after 2020, so we're now in the dystopia model, which is the tier 3. The lower you go, the worse it gets. Now, if gamer oppression gets any worse than it currently is to a significant degree, we'll be in the hellscape model. Trust me, nobody wants to be in that model. It's not going to be like playing Doom. It's going to be like, Armageddon and no respawns. And last but not least, you have the post-apocalypse, which is real-life Fallout. I hope you guys saved up your bottle caps, and also you better hope that the economy is bottle cap centric, because there's no guarantee. For all we know, it'll be shiny rocks, seashells, or it'll be like Grim Dawn. By the way, Grim Dawn's a pretty good game. And the currency will just be raw iron, because gold ain't worth shit, but iron is worth a lot in a post-apocalypse. Now, some of you may be wondering, what exactly causes a paradigm shift? How does something like this happen? Well, it's not usually one isolated incident. Contrary to what some of you think that it was caused by
coronavirus!
But this wasn't actually caused by coronavirus. It was caused by an amalgamation of isolated incidents, like most paradigm shifts are. One notable example was Pokemon Sword and Shield. This game came out really unfinished, even compared to the original release of X and Y and Sun and Moon, which were somewhat lackluster compared to the glorious Gen 5. But compared to Sun and Moon and X and Y, Sword and Shield is even worse. It is lacking even more content. And instead of giving us patches to try to add back the content that we lost, they gave us DLCs that only gave us a chunk of the lost content back. And don't get me wrong, those DLCs did add a lot of great things to the game, but the game is still, by all metrics, very incomplete. And then they had the audacity to sell it back to us? You couldn't make the patches free?
Why would you do that?
Another example is the Marvel Avengers game that came out. It was, of all companies, Square Enix that was behind this. How does Square Enix fail this bad? The game actually lost money. They haven't made back the production costs on this game yet. Maybe that'll change by the time you're watching this video, but honestly, I don't see that happening because this game has a completely evaporated fan base. The player base for it is so small because the game is just so bad. It's boring, the looting function doesn't feel very rewarding, and it's, of course, a looter shooter. It's like Destiny. It's a game that, quite frankly, is just doing everything wrong. And of course, it's got a bunch of predatory microtransactions on a game that costs money up front.
What kind of shit is that?
Then you have the audacity to make the front-running character Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan. I didn't even know who that character was until I looked it up. That game is the only reason I didn't even know she existed. Why didn't you make it Spider-Man, or Iron Man, or Captain America? Hell, make it the Hulk. I don't care. Make it a character that people are familiar with and everyone likes, instead of this literally who. And I just don't understand why you would make a game that expensive have microtransactions. Microtransactions, as many of you should be aware by now, are one of the most egregious forms of gamer oppression. That's part of the reason the paradigm shift into the society happened. Microtransactions are the cause of that. But that's not even the worst thing about it. It's the fact that people continue to buy these microtransactions, which leads into the next thing, the PS5 and Xbox Series X scalpers. I need you all to understand something. Every console on release is going to have some bugs and problems. And the fact that all of you were in such a hurry to get these consoles that scalpers are like, ooh, if we get these on pre-order, we can sell them up for a huge markup. We can turn hundreds, even thousands of dollars in profit. You all are the reason that they keep doing that. Because this has happened before, and it will continue to happen again. It keeps working because you keep buying it. Stop giving these people your money. Please stop doing it. The PS5 and Xbox Series X already had a ton of issues, and don't get me wrong, these consoles were very ambitious. It's understandable why so many of you were so desperate to get your hands on them, but quite frankly, by buying these from scalpers and also creating such an over-eager demand for them, you contributed to gamer oppression. Not me, though. I'm waiting for those consoles to actually have games on them before I buy them, but let's move on.
Next up, Best Sports Racing. The Last of Us Part 2.
Another example of gamer oppression that happened this year was, of course, the Game Awards, or as I prefer to call it, The Last of Us 2 Circle Jerk. The Last of Us 2 was a game that I avoided purchasing after I saw the leaks, and then many content creators I watch reviewed the game that actually played it and confirmed that all of the leaks, among many other things, were true. The Last of Us is a story-driven franchise, and The Last of Us 2 seemed to deliberately take an entire piss on the original game just to sell a new narrative. And that's why a lot of people didn't want to buy it and a lot of people didn't like it. And this is a $60 game. I'm not spending $60 on a game that has a terrible storyline when the storyline is the best part, when I can go on Steam and get 3 to 5 indie games that actually have good gameplay and or good story for the same price. Why would I do that if I don't have to? And this game somehow won 7 awards at the Game Awards. Not 1, not 2, 7. Ghost of Tsushima, a game that had really good gameplay, really good story, and beautiful artwork, did win 1 award on art and direction, and it won the Player's Choice Award. Last of Us 2 won 7, though. Not to mention Hades. Hades is an indie game, and don't get me wrong, I have the game, and it is really fun, and I really like it. I would recommend it to any of you that have not purchased it yet. It's on the Switch, it's on Steam, it's a good game. It won 2 awards. Now, on one hand, I'm happy because an indie title won 2 awards. That's fantastic. But Ghost of Tsushima, a AAA game that was loved by the majority of the people who played it, and the Japanese, despite this being a Western-made game, only won 1 award, and the Player's Choice Award. I just want to know, how the hell did that happen? This is definitely gamer oppression. If it isn't, I don't know what is.
One more thing.
Also, I just want to ask a serious question. Why the hell did Neil Druckmann make a self-insert character go raw and deep up in Abby's guts? No censorship. Meanwhile, if I want to play a visual novel on PSN, I can't do that without egregious amounts of censorship. I just want to know why that double standard works like that. Make it make sense. Help me out here. But let's move on to the last and most notable example of gamer oppression this year. And that is how the fans did CD Projekt Red the dirt on Cyberpunk 2077 Terrarium Edition. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I'm just going to say this. The Cyberpunk 2077 game developers did want to push this game back because they wanted to make sure that it had minimal bugs and a maximum playability. But the fan base just had to get in their emotions and say, no, release it now, you pushed the day back too many times. Listen, this is a really ambitious title. They wanted to make sure they smoothed it out as much as humanly possible, and you all got in your emotions. And look what happened. You got an unfinished game with tons of bugs, game-breaking glitches, and a whole lot of problems. If you had just been patient, maybe this never would have happened. But you just couldn't help yourselves. But unfortunately, this is not just the player base's fault. The shareholders probably pressured them to do it too. And that's part of the other reason why the game was likely rushed out. Now, to be fair, Cyberpunk 2077 is getting consistent patches to try to remedy this issue, and unlike some people, Nintendo, they're going to be rolling out those patches for free. Hey, Nintendo, did you know that? Did you see it? Are you paying attention? Are you watching that? Take notes. Write that shit down. Overall, I have to say that this is still a form of gamer oppression, and I'm really disappointed to hear that. And that reminds me one more form of gamer oppression that directly involves the aforementioned company I just brought up.
Let me smash. Please.
No, Ron.
So recently, Nintendo decided that they were going to stop a Smash Brothers tournament that was hosted online using a product called Slippy, which allows them to host it online even if they're not in the same room. You see, due to the whole social distancing thing, they can't hold local tournaments like they used to back in the day. And who would want to go to a local tournament full of Smash Brothers Melee players? I mean, the smell alone will kill you. But that being said, Nintendo could just make an online available port for Melee in the eShop and just make sure that it has basic lobby functions to have online matches. But no, they're not going to do that. It couldn't possibly cost them that much money, and whatever it would cost them, they'll make it back day one. The Melee community is really loyal to that game. You sell that game back to them for $30 with online lobby function built in, it will immediately turn a profit within 24 hours. I can promise you that. I will bet my balls and penis that that will happen. But Nintendo doesn't want to do it. They would rather sue people or threaten to sue people who have emulators or mods for their games that are 100% non-profit and just passion projects than just resell us games that we love and have been loyal to for several years. Remake Patent Kaitos. Remake Patent Kaitos. But no, they don't want to do that. Throw a lawsuit in their face and tell them to stop or else. This is another form of gamer oppression, and quite an egregious one. Nintendo has really not been utilizing the eShop and online ports, and it, as a company, has the perfect environment to do that, and yet they just don't. What, are you allergic to money, Nintendo? But all of these events and many more amalgamated together are what now create the dystopia paradigm that we currently live in. And this makes me really depressed because this means we can't use Joker memes anymore. Now, I'm not saying that anyone's doing that. I haven't seen a Joker meme in a brick. But the point is, these memes are no longer valid. However, I have a suggestion. We make our Dystopia mascot Adam Jensen from the Deus Ex franchise. Now, I'm not saying we have to do this, but I do have a sample meme I'd like to show you. So here's a pretty basic meme to work with, pretty simple. I don't think that it needs to be overly complicated. We need to make sure these are easy to mass produce and distribute to inform people of the paradigm shift. But here's another suggestion if you guys don't like that. Here's Dystopia the Despondent. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh monster. I think that this meme is a little more avant-garde. We're using West text. I don't know how many of y'all are ready for that, but we gotta get creative. We gotta inform people in lots of different ways. We gotta help activate those almonds. Another suggestion, we could use this meme of Chairman Rose. This one's incorporating top text. Again, we gotta get a little weird. We gotta get innovative. We gotta act totally different. This is a new paradigm, and we gotta show people this is a new paradigm, so we gotta be creative with these memes. But with that being said, I think that this is enough information for you guys to move forward. I hope that this information is helpful to you. I hope you learned something today. I hope you got educated, because we gotta know that the paradigm shift has occurred so that we can properly navigate through the new paradigm. If you keep operating like this is a society when it's not a society anymore, you guys are gonna get screwed over pretty bad, and I don't want that to happen. You need to know what's going on. You need to be educated, because as many of you should know by now,
And knowing is half the battle.
but that's about all. Thanks for watching. Give me some feedback on this, and have a good one. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And Kuro wishes you a Happy Mew Year.